Thanksgiving always had a rhythm to it. Same dishes, same jokes, same quiet negotiations about who would do what without ever calling them negotiations. I used to arrive early, not because I loved cooking, but because there was always something broken. A cabinet hinge, a flickering light, the back door that never quite shut right. My dad wouldn't ask directly. He'd just mention it in passing, like weather. Been meaning to fix that. And I would. It became part of how I showed up. Not announced, not thanked in any lasting way, just folded into expectation. This year felt normal at first. Kids running through the house. My mom moving between the kitchen and the table, keeping everything in motion. My dad in his usual chair, commenting on things without fully participating in them. I noticed the sink was dripping again. Different faucet this time. I didn't get up. I told myself I'd look at it later. Dinner settled in the way it always does. Plates passed, small talk filling the gaps. My kids were at the smaller table, my mom keeping an eye on them out of habit more than obligation, and then my dad said it. We're not going to babysit anymore. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't even look at me right away. It was said into the room like a general update. Something logistical. My mom didn't react. That was the first sign it wasn't spontaneous. I waited for clarification. Maybe for a while, or we need a break. It didn't come, I asked. Seriously? He nodded, finally meeting my eyes. We've done our part. There wasn't anger in it. That made it harder to push against. It sounded settled, thought through. Like a decision made long before it was shared, I felt something tighten, not sudden, not explosive. Just a quiet alignment of things that hadn't been said for years. Okay, I said. I stood up slower than I felt. My chair made that small scraping sound that gets attention even when people pretend not to notice. Then I'm done fixing things here. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. No one stopped me. My mom looked like she wanted to, but didn't know how without choosing a side in a moment that had already drawn the line. I got my coat, called the kids. We left before dessert. Driving home, I kept expecting regret to show up. It didn't. Just a kind of quiet. Not relief, exactly. More like something had finally been named, even if poorly. I thought about all the weekends I'd come over because it won't take long. All the evenings where babysitting turned into assumed coverage, not ask for help. None of it had been forced, but none of it had been balanced either. The next morning, my phone started lighting up before I was fully awake. Moss from my mom first. Short, careful. Your dad didn't mean it like that. You know how he is. Then my sister. You overreacted. They're getting older. You can't expect them to keep doing everything. Then a cousin, which meant the story had already spread beyond the house. What happened last night? I didn't respond right away. I made breakfast. Packed lunches. Moved through the routine of the morning like nothing had shifted even though everything had. Around noon, my dad called. I let it ring once longer than usual before answering. His voice was steady. The kitchen sink's leaking worse. I almost smiled at that. Not because it was funny, but because it was so predictable. The problem had escalated overnight, or maybe it just finally mattered. You should call a plumber. I said, a pause. Not long, but noticeable. That costs money. I didn't fill the silence for him, another pause. Then, I didn't think you'd just walk out like that. I leaned against the counter, looking at nothing in particular. I didn't think you'd say what you said like that. There wasn't a clean response to that, just breathing on the other end, measured like he was deciding which direction to go. We've helped you a lot, he said finally. You have, I agreed. And I've helped you. The difference sat there between us. Not argued, not denied, just present. He didn't apologize, he didn't take it back, but his voice shifted slightly, less certain. I'm not saying we won't ever help, he said. Just not like before. I nodded, even though he couldn't see it. That's fine, I said. But then it goes both ways. Another silence. This one heavier, but not hostile. Yeah, he said. We ended the call without resolving anything fully. The sink would get fixed by someone else or eventually by me if things softened. My kids would still see their grandparents, just not in the same easy, assumed way. Nothing had collapsed. But something had changed shape. That evening, my phone was quieter. A message from my mom, we'll figure it out. I believed her, not because things would go back to how they were, but because they couldn't. And maybe that was the point. Fairness, it turns out, doesn't feel like warmth. It feels like distance you have to learn how to cross again differently this time.